happy Wednesday, y'all. You know it's time for a celebration. I'm your host, Shamika Rhymes. Let me know in the chat where you guys are watching from. Let me know how your week has been going, how your mom and them are doing. Let me know all the things. And remember to share this with your network because you never know. There may be some gems being dropped tonight. So you want to make sure that, your friends, your coworkers, whoever, your family members, that they catch those gems. And if you have any questions at all, y'all know the drill. Drop it in the chat because you are the co-hosts. So tonight, I am so excited about this. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. So we're talking about wellness as we always do, but we're also talking about the power of staying ready, body, mind, and spirit. And one of my favorite actors is in the building today, actor Donnell Turner. You know him as Curtis Ashford on General Hospital, and he's been in some other films and TV shows as well. But he's going to join me tonight for a soulful conversation about what it really means to live well, feel good, and protect your peace, especially on social media. And so this is all about alignment, intention, and strength. So again, let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and let's bring Donnell on.
Hello.
Hi, Donnell. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Shamika?
I'm good. I don't know why I'm nervous. It's like we go way back. So.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a minute now. Yeah.
Right. It's like this is not new.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I'm so glad you were able to do this tonight. So, and you look amazing. So we got to start this off with, what is your wellness routine looking like these days?
Well, these days it's more involved. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay. These days it's more involved than ever. As we age, it's less about physical exuberance and more about discipline. And so where I could get away in the past eating an occasional cheeseburger and maybe something I shouldn't, I knew that I could work it off being young, that metabolism. As we get older, that changes. And so I was told that about 20 years ago by a man in his 80s who was shredded. And I said, you must live in the gym. He said, no, it's really 80% diet. So I know that's probably not what most people want to hear, but it's about diet. It is. And know your body type. If you're an ectomorph, if you're an endomorph, or a mesomorph, that has a lot to do with it, how you train and how you eat, and the results you can expect. And so that's been a journey that I've been on for about 30 years. And so nowadays it's about macros, making sure I get my calories. I stay in a surplus. I'm a skinny dude by nature. So if I want to keep this size, I have to make sure that I stay in the calorie surplus, and I got to make sure that I get the right carbs along with my proteins.
Okay. So how do you know what your body type is? Like, where did you find that information?
Just reading and learning.
Okay.
The layman's terms are basically like I'm an ectomorph, so we're basically long and lean, statuesque type, which is, I guess, fine if you're on the beach with your shirt off all the time. But if you want to try to get bigger, if you want to not be skinny, then, or even as you age, if you want to maintain the size you were in your 20s and 30s, it's a challenge. And then if you're an endomorph, you tend to, if you stop working out, you'll get bigger. Where if I stop working out, I'll get smaller. So yeah, there's the different body types, and so their needs are different when they do cardio, and their diets are different. So if you have a couple and one is an ectomorph, one's an endomorph, it's going to be tough if they're both on a diet plan because they got to do things differently.
Right. And then for women, you throw in menopause or perimenopause, and that's a whole other thing. It's
Absolutely. And then you throw the comparison thing. I caution everyone against comparison.
Yeah.
So there are some famous endomorphs, J-Lo, Beyonce, but you also have to not compare yourself because they have the luxury, the benefit of certain wellness procedures that maybe the average person isn't privy to.
Right.
There's always
And
that.
you guys in the chat, make sure you drop your questions. And I forgot to mention this in my intro. I had it all planned in my head and then I forgot. So y'all may remember back in January when Coach Erica Shorty was on, and I kept saying, we were talking about vision boards. Donnell, you're going to think this is crazy. We were talking about vision boards, and I kept saying, what if I put someone from General Hospital on my vision board? And look, here you are.
I believe in vision boards. I do. You put it out there. There's a famous saying, and I've probably told you this before in our many conversations, but
Uh-huh.
there's a saying that no wind blows in favor of a ship with no direction.
Mhm.
So if you
Yeah, I
want
like that.
the universe or whatever you call it to blow in your favor, you got to have a plan. You got to have a map. You got to know where you're going. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that say I want to be rich, I want to be famous, and you say, well, what's your plan? Well, I don't know.
Mhm.
So you're kind of expecting it to fall out of the sky. So love your vision board. Thank you. Pleased to be on it. And here we are.
Right. Though I also was like, well, it doesn't matter me just reaching out and asking you
Well, there's that. You know, you
that
got to
that
action.
too. But nobody knew that back in January. All right. Well, I do see Gastonia checking in and Asheville, Charlotte. I see y'all. Thank you for watching. All right. So, you kind of mentioned how your approach to fitness and health have kind of evolved, or especially nutrition too, has evolved over the years. How old were you when you were like, okay, things are changing. I gotta regroup. Like, was there a certain age when you thought that, or like I can pinpoint when mine was that, okay, time to regroup.
Yeah. Well, there's two pivotal moments in my life, and I'm gonna try to make these stories shorter. One when I was 19, and I lived in
Mhm.
Northern California, and a soap opera, Young and the Restless. They came to my small town, and they had a cattle call. And out of thousands of people for hours in that day, they chose me and two other, I think it was two white girls and me.
Mhm.
And I listened to those people rave about me and how perfect and ready I was. And I remember I was wearing a New York Knicks tank top, and they liked my arms because I played basketball and I
Mhm.
kickboxed. But one thing I didn't do was a lot of push-ups, a lot of abs, and a lot of modeling, and whatever looks good on TV. I had
Mhm.
functional muscles for the sports I played. So when they asked me to take my shirt off, they closed the books, pushed away from the table, and that was it. They completely. It was my first lesson in Hollywood about,
Mhm.
yeah, they don't care about your feelings. They're going to be real about it.
Oh,
And
wow.
also, I better go ahead and stay ready. So I have to get ready. So that was
Yeah.
one pivotal moment. And then there was another moment. Oh, COVID. During
Mm.
COVID, a lot of people got lazy. I was one of them at one moment. We were staying up late. Our hours were all, people were getting faded at 10 in the morning or
Yeah.
whatever. What was it, COVID teenies and all of that. And so me, you don't have to tell me to eat waffles. I love waffles, right?
Mhm.
And so I kind of went a little maybe crazy. So it was the first time my waistline in all my adult life had expanded from the 32, which is, ideal in modeling and which I had done for a lot of years, to a 35. And it was weird. This my shorts and things didn't fit, and everything was tight on my waist. And I said, "Hold on, let me pull it together. This ain't how it's
Mhm.
supposed to be." And as you age, it gets harder to lose that. I
Mhm.
used to have a saying when I was younger: "Give me a month, or give me 2 weeks, and I can shoot you a calendar." And now it's probably more like, "Give me 3 months."
Mhm.
So the best
Wow.
way is to stay in shape, and I
Mm.
I, I don't let the waffles get the best of me now. And I'm not gonna say I have a 32-inch waist again, but it is a 33.
Okay, okay.
Not a 35.
Well, I
And
have to know now what kind of waffles you like.
mm, you know what? I'm not mad at Eggo waffles. Shout out to Eggo. I'm not mad
Okay.
at, you don't have to get fancy and get a iron and all of that. I mean, you can. I think I just like breakfast carbs altogether. It could be pancakes,
Same.
biscuits, crepes, hash browns. Any breakfast carb is good with your boy.
Same, same. But like I was saying, with when some of us women, it's like you expanded maybe a couple inches. We're like gained 20 pounds.
The COVID 20, the COVID 15, whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know. It's tough. I just think it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So when people say I have to go to the gym or I have to do a diet, I think, well, those are short term, even your mentality going in. But if
Hmm.
you change your lifestyle, and I also have a leg up because I never ate sweets. I never had a sweet tooth. So I know. I'm not. I was just one of those kids. I always wanted to be Apollo Creed. I wanted to be my dad. I wanted to
Hmm.
be that dude, the big mustache and chest hair and the muscles. And I knew I couldn't get there eating junk food. So they
Hmm.
told me, Popeye told me spinach. They told me broccoli and vegetables and milk. Milk does the
Hmm.
body good. So Even one year, I went one whole summer eating standing up because they told me it would make me tall. And so if you told me broccoli was good and candy was not, then I didn't eat the candy. So here I am. I've never had a cavity in my life, and I'm grateful because sugar does make it hard for the body to burn fat. And so a
I'm
lot of
about ready
people,
to just close my laptop, Donnell. I'm like,
mm,
what? You don't have like
mm.
that's crazy.
I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. I have my if I do break down, I do like me a good cinnamon roll, and
Okay.
I'm gonna put butter on it, and I'm gonna heat it up, and I'm gonna break some rules. I do like carrot cake. I do like carrot.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, but there's a saying you should taste sweets and eat food, and
I
so a
like
lot of
that.
people get that mixed up. They eat sweets.
Hmm.
And I know, not to throw dirt, to shade my brother or nothing, but we used to, when we did get a little bit of an allowance as kids or little spending money extra, we at one point lived near a strip plaza and there was a 7-Eleven and a Subway. And my brother would run and go to the 7-Eleven and get a Hostess cake and a strawberry milk. God bless him. And for me, I would go to Subway and go get me a foot-long steak sandwich. And so
Yeah. Did you
that
get
might
chips and
explain
a cookie or no?
chips, no cookie.
Okay. All
No,
right, fine. At
no
least you got
cookie.
the chips.
Yeah. And so I just started like taking an active interest. I mean, I do know that health is wealth.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, yeah, I mean, everybody wants money. Thousands of people want money, but the people
Hmm.
with money, they want health in their last days. And so it's like your money can't buy you health, but you can not have money, still enjoy a good quality of life because
Hmm.
I do believe, again, health is wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just asked you this backstage, but I was as I was looking through articles about you and through your Instagram, and I happened to notice that we have something in common, and I think it was the same knee, torn meniscus.
Ooh.
How did that happen, and did that impact your workout? Did it impact your mindset?
Yeah, let me know that, Father Time is undefeated. I hurt my knee very simply, just jumping over something that was 6 inches off the ground. I
Hmm.
was shooting a movie. I had done it 3 other takes. On the fourth take, I noticed a sting. It didn't cripple me. I didn't fall over. I didn't need ice. The show went on. And 3 months later, it swelled up. And so, how did it impact me? I couldn't lift the way I wanted. I walked differently for a while.
Hmm.
It was funny though. Art imitates life. Art supports life. Light supports art. But it was right around that time my character was in a wheelchair. So, an exorbitantly a long amount of time in that wheelchair. So it was
Yes.
kind of fortuitous because I got to stay off my knee.
I
And
can't
it's
tell you how many times I kept saying, "Get up, Curtis,
good
get up."
Lord. Yeah, I was in that sucker 9 months. And
So you
so,
didn't do physical therapy at all? Because I know I was in physical therapy and mine was torn from a car accident. So
ooh, I'm sorry.
it 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 just kept buckling when I would walk. It was just like somebody kicked me in the back of the knee, and it was swelling. And I ended
Ooh,
up in physical therapy because I opted not to do surgery. So I did
right.
some strenuous physical therapy for months. It felt like 9 months. So you didn't
Yeah,
do any of that?
I did. I learned from a therapist what exercises to do.
Okay.
And so I did, I didn't want to pay for a therapist. You know, and maybe it's the man in me. I don't know, but I was like, what do I do? Oh, I could just do these three things. Okay. And I did, and they worked.
Mhm.
And so now I just try to stay limber. I try to stay flexible because, you know, it could just, you ever stretch and throw your back out? You ever yawn or sneeze and then you threw your back out? So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
I now just stretch because stupid stuff happens for no reason.
Right, you go to sleep, you wake up, everything hurts.
Yeah, you got to start over. Like, okay, loosen the neck, loosen the shoulders. Yeah, I. It is what it is. But
Yeah,
I do think a lot of people are into like wellness therapy.
mhm,
I think that's important for a lot of people. If you, I don't know how much you know about it, but I would encourage everyone to look into it. And if you can work it into your financial plans, see that because hormone replacement therapy for I've heard people tell me it saved their marriage, and that's coming from women.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, women in their 60s, women in their late 50s telling me, "Oh God, this hormone replacement stuff is great." I know
Hmm.
men, the gym now is littered with men with gray hair and muscles. And
Hmm.
so there's a lot of that. And I remember 10, 12 years ago, my doctor was saying, stay away from that stuff. We don't know about it. You got to watch your adrenal gland and da-da. And now they're recommending it. And same
Yeah.
thing with creatine, things like that.
Hmm.
They cautioned me in the 90s and now they're recommending it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go back to the flexibility thing because Melba Moore was on here a couple weeks ago,
Wow.
and she's 79, and she talked. I don't know if you've seen, but she can still kick a leg up like she's a rocket. And
Okay.
so, and she just said it was just stretching little by little every day till
Absolutely.
she got it. And so she just, that's one thing she focuses on, is stretching every day. And so I, co-sign, because I
Yeah.
was like, I need to, I want to be like Melba. I want to be able to kick my leg. I haven't been
Shout
able to
out to
do it in
Melba.
years.
Yeah. We all want
Yeah,
to be like that. I read something when I was a kid that they say cats, felines, never pull a muscle, even though they're most agile of all animals.
really.
And they said, well, one of the reasons is you never see them tear a ligament or nothing like
Mhm.
that because they stretch all day. They stretch
Ah.
all day. If you think the cat pose and they do little
Mhm.
things when they're not, looking for food or not resting,
Mhm.
they're stretching, they're cleaning. And so it's nothing for a feline to stretch multiple times a day. And I thought, wow,
Mhm.
that resonated with me. Plus, I grew up, in martial arts starting at 10 years old. So
Yeah.
flexibility was important. Of course, it's a must.
Mhm.
But flexibility has a memory also. People don't know that. So if you were once flexible, you could get it back, but I wouldn't rush it. A little bit, like Melba said, a little bit a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I told her, I was like, I cheered for
There you
50
go.
something years. It's not been that long, but I was like, now that leg is not going up that high.
Oh, I lost you.
Oh, I'm still here. Can you still see me?
Okay, there you are. There you are. Hello.
Okay. All right. So what are some of your go-to exercises or practices, movement practices? Because that's one thing my nutritionist just yelled at me about earlier. She's like, you need to be moving, like
Okay.
move your body. So what do you do that feels good to you?
So because of the meniscus injury and father time and its
Mhm.
presence, I try impact-free movements. Things,
Mhm.
running is whatever. Running is running, but um, I still do my kickboxing movements and my bag work, and that keeps me to some degree. But you could easily throw something out or injure the meniscus with all that foot
Mhm.
twisting. And so I do a lot of swimming. I do a lot of incline, high intensity walking with the hands above the heart to maximize the heart rate. And I
Mhm.
do a lot of the row machine.
Okay.
And those are just kind of all encompassing workouts, things like that. But, and then trying to stay in the target heart range. And that's something for everybody. A good way to do it is to get on the phone, get
Mhm.
your headphones, and talk to somebody. Because they say in layman's terms, if
Yeah.
you can still hold a conversation reasonably, a little bit out of breath, you're right in your
Mhm.
target range. And so,
Oh,
that
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good gauge. Plus, it makes the time go by quicker. So I'll do the
It
row
does.
machine while I'm talking to somebody, and I look up, and it's been 12, 15 minutes, and I'm thinking, okay, that's great. So I recommend that to everyone. You don't have to
Mhm.
sprint. You don't have to go too hard. Just stay in that range. Make it suck for at least, it takes what, 11 to 12 minutes to burn glycogen.
Mhm.
So depending what your needs are, 20 minutes, just stay in that little range, a little jog or a power walk, incline, hands above the heart. That's all you
Mhm.
need, unless you're
Yeah.
training for something.
Right. Yeah. Did you this is gonna sound crazy. So do you wear a knee brace, like, because of that torn meniscus? I mean, I know when I show up for yoga, they're like, "Here she come with all her braces on."
I could make a case for the guy who has a brace on every part of his body. Okay, let me tell you. But I don't. Thankfully, I've been saying lately, I've been doing different things. Like I'm drinking these exotic juices. I'm doing the wellness. I'm doing all this other stuff. So
Mhm.
this is one of those times in my life where nothing hurts. I've always had rotator cuff issues, both shoulders, basketball, I had the knees, nothing hurts. So I don't wear my knee brace.
Okay.
They say a brace is a sign of weakness, and maybe I'm vain, but sometimes the tennis elbow starts hurting, so I want to brace on that. Then I'm
Mhm.
benching heavy, so I put braces on my wrist, and then I get the knee, and I look like the dude covered in braces. And when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm that guy. Let me not do this. So all vanity aside, though, thankfully God is good. I have no pain.
Okay, good, good. I said that as I have my ankle brace on right now.
You better wear that brace. It makes you feel better.
So going back to your diet, you mentioned these exotic juices. Like we want to know, what do you eat? What do you eat in a day?
You
What does your
know,
diet
you
look
don't
like, or
even have.
lifestyle look like?
Oh, right. Um, I love every day. Um, so I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Yeah,
And so in the 90s, we couldn't eat eggs the way we thought. And now we're finding out that eggs got a bad rap. Even the yolk is not as bad as we thought. And
right.
it contains some healthy, properties that we need. So you still don't want to go crazy. So every morning I eat about 8 or 9 eggs. And I do a 3-to-1 ratio. So I'll do 3 egg whites, 1 whole egg, 3 egg whites, 1 whole egg. And
Hmm.
then I do spinach, sauteed spinach. That's my superfood. I love every day. I do it with either breakfast or dinner or both.
Okay.
You just saute that up real quick with some coconut oil. Um, and then I'm trying to kick back from carbs, but if I do toast, I do that low carb toast. And yeah, I mean a little heart smart butter on the toast,
Hmm.
and I do some raspberry preserves on that. But that's my breakfast. I try to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So I do a protein drink. My protein drinks have 30 grams of protein, no carbs, no sugar, no fat.
Hmm.
And then like right now, I just came from the gym, so I made a bunch of chicken thighs. So I made a chicken thigh, and I make in advance. I made 8 sweet potatoes,
Okay.
and so I have a chicken thigh and a sweet potato after my workout.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna have another here in about an hour, another protein drink, another 30 grams of protein. And then tonight I'll have a smart dinner, light on the carbs.
Hmm.
So it's about what you eat when you eat,
Right.
and don't do carbs late. It
Hmm.
makes your insulin levels spike.
Yeah.
Um, and try not to eat late, period, but definitely not carbs.
Hmm.
And do your carbs, either before your workout or right after your workout. Give you that most energy. But for me, it's sweet potatoes. I can't make enough. I found a cool, quick way to make them. You wrap them. I don't know. Maybe I'm not telling you nothing, but you wrap
No,
them in
no,
a.
no. Please share, because I have sweet potatoes in the kitchen right now, and
Okay,
I love sweet potatoes.
me too. I'm telling you, I eat them twice a day. Okay, they have these smaller ones. Now, when I grew up, they were all big. Remember that, but maybe
Yeah.
where you are, they still got them. But we have a bag, and they got these little, whatever size sweet potatoes. So I can make 8 of them. I make them for the
Hmm.
week. I make them for however long they last. But anyway, you poke holes in them. So use a fork, and then another fork, and I poke
Hmm.
holes all over it. Wrap it up in a wet paper towel. Put it in the microwave for 8 minutes. Take it out of the microwave, take the towel off, put it in tin foil, put it in the oven for 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. Depending on if it's just one or two, it'll be 8 and 8. If it's like 10 of them, you might have to adjust those numbers a little bit, 10 minutes and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll. A little heart smart butter and some cinnamon. And I mean, that goes with everything. And I try to stay away from sugar, so I don't do brown sugar and all of that.
See, I thought
Just
it was
some.
just me that did the cinnamon on there. I love cinnamon.
Yeah, and it's good
Yeah.
for you. It's an
Yeah.
antioxidant. It's got a lot of properties, a lot of good stuff for you. But yeah, cinnamon and butter.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah, we still do have in North Carolina, we still have those big ones. I have a few big ones that I end up having to cut in half because they're
there you
just
go.
so
Yeah, yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Try
Yeah.
that. I want to know, everybody. Check it out because it's been working for me. It's convenient. So I usually put it in the oven the last 8 minutes of the chicken I'm making. I just slide it next to the chicken. So I got my
Mhm.
chicken, my yams, everything's done, and then I got food for the next 3, 4 days.
I'm coming to your house. That's it. I don't want
Come
to
on.
cook. I'm coming to your house to
Come
eat.
on. I make a mean salad too. We throw everything in it. I mean, I'm enjoying eating healthy. I love it. I do.
Hmm.
Avocados, I get my good fats in, pistachios. I do a lot of walnuts are good for your brain.
Hmm.
Cashews are good for your brain. And so those are good fats
Hmm.
also. So you need a little bit of everything. You just got to figure out what your macros are, what you need for where you're going. For me, I'm trying to be Mr. Olympia. So at 52, I have the nerve to think that I can be a Hulk. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to get into a calorie surplus, a carb surplus, a protein
Mhm.
surplus, and lift heavy. You can't tell right now, but I'm over here getting diesel.
Wait, is there a movie role coming up or something?
Not yet, but let me tell you something out of your mouth, okay? God's ears. I'm gonna claim it, and when they knock, I'm gonna be ready already.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So how do you stay mentally and spiritually grounded with, because I'm sure that's a crazy schedule,
Yep.
like filming, and with whatever else you've got going on. How do you just kind of find that moment, whether it's through the day? Because we've talked a lot about that here on Celebration, about self-care and then going beyond just the, getting your hair and nails done and all those things. And what does that look like for you?
Well, for me, it just starts with gratitude. So you're
Mhm.
gonna start your day. You wake up and give thanks to your Creator for the day. I think that sets the tone. It
Mhm.
sets the tone. My drives to work are usually spent prayerful, thankful.
Mhm.
So that's my time. It starts my day, and then I'm ready to face whatever. So for me, that keeps me grounded. I do things I love. Just should I say this? Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm writing a book right now, and it's not on my biography, but I am writing a book. It's very
Okay.
interesting. I'm having a blast, and it keeps my mind going. The hamster never stops running, so it's
Mhm.
hard to sleep sometimes. Now that I'm doing this, it gives me something aside from all the pages at work to think about.
Right.
Work
Mhm.
has picked up. The page count is ridiculous lately. On Friday nights, your brain is smoking. It's awesome. I'm not complaining, but I think it's mindset also. A lot of people say I gotta work 4 days
Mhm.
next week. I say I get to work. So it's
Oh,
mindset. We get
yeah.
to work. We get to go to the gym. And
Mhm.
so mindset is important. And I'm a dude who grinded. I mean, I'm a dude for despite what people think, but I started at the very bottom,
Mhm.
audience work, clapping for 3 different shows for $20 cash. Non-union background, eating
Yeah.
stale bagels and old fruit. And
Mhm.
for $50. And so to be where I am right now, I understand how grateful I am. So all I got to do, I needn't do anything more than just think about where it started. And
Yeah.
April 1st was exactly 24 years for me. So I moved here on
Wow.
April Fool's, yeah, Day
Mhm.
2021. Man, it's been no joke.
Yeah. Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. I'm thanking God. I bought a house recently and I graduated
Mhm.
school and everything is like happening. And I just think mom used to always say, s- uh, success is when opportunity meets preparedness
Right.
and not preparation, not getting ready,
Mhm.
preparedness, being prepared already. And
Mhm.
so that's what it is. And that's why, I know I'm a man of a certain age. People are on my heels. There's a younger Donnell somewhere,
Mhm.
and I got to make their job difficult. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how do when we all deal with stress and
Yep.
things get overwhelming. So how do you kind of reset and recharge? Like, is that when you decide, let me go work out, let me go for a quick walk? Do you meditate? What do you do?
Prayer, meditation, my moments
Mhm.
in gratitude, similar. They're all sort of,
Okay.
time, um, resetting,
Mhm.
rebooting, recalibrating. I do that as well. I have my days where I do nothing. I think that was for me. That was Saturday. Just I think I watched 3 movies, A Quiet Place, A Quiet Place 2, A Quiet Place, that was
Mhm.
my Saturday, and then I watched some other stuff, and so I also enjoy the rest and recovery aspect related to health and fitness. You gotta rest. That's
Mhm.
primary, and I didn't do a lot of that when I was younger. I used to say, "Oh, I'll rest when I'm dead,"
Yeah.
and now I'm like, "No, no, I'm gonna go ahead and put my feet up and take a nap."
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I don't mind what that looks like
Mhm.
because I love me a good nap. So I think that helps. Good association. Bible encourages us to maintain healthy association. Good
Mhm.
thoughts, good food. So what you put in, you're going to give out.
I like that. I like that. I want to remind everybody in the chat, y'all better get your questions in while Donnell is
Yeah.
here. Of course, I'm going to bring him back when he gets this book done too.
Oh, I can't wait for people to dig it. I hope they dig it as much as I'm enjoying doing it. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll relate. I
So,
can't wait to share it with you. I'll tell you about it off air.
okay, okay, okay. So, you know, you and I have talked a little bit about this before, but and you just mentioned the Bible, but how do you how would you say, like, just looking back over the past 24 years, would you say you're growing internally and spiritually? Like, I feel like just the few times I've talked to you, I can tell there's a difference.
Really?
Yeah, there's some growth.
Oh, amen. Thank you. That's what a compliment.
Yeah.
My mom and dad used to say, probably right before, giving us a whooping, they would say, one day life will whoop you worse than I ever could. And they weren't
Yeah.
wrong. When you're a kid, you're like, I doubt it. I'll wait for that. I don't want this butt whooping. But life
Right.
will, it really will. They weren't wrong. And so
Mhm.
I'm thankful that I had parents that showed us the way. So when I thought I knew everything and I could do things on my own, their prayers and their words echoed and kind of
Mhm.
kept me from veering too far off path. And so I know where my strength comes from. I've tried it on my own.
Mhm.
I can't do it on my own. I'm flesh and blood. I know I'm made good, but I know I'm not perfect. And so I know this is spiritual warfare out here.
Mhm.
And so you just can't slap everybody. So all the
Right.
years of kickboxing, all the years of my gun training or knife combat, meaningless. It's
Mhm.
spiritual warfare. So you got to stay, you got to keep your whole armor on and be ready for this. And so
Yeah.
that keeps me together. That's not to say I don't want to slap people. Traffic, if you've ever been to LA, traffic is enough to
Yes.
test you. It'll test you. And it's in those moments when I'm learning, maybe it's age and I'm not so hot blooded, but somebody will cut me off now. And all I say now is, really? Well, this is what we're doing. Where in the past it would have been a string of expletives and ready to pull over and invite them out
Mhm.
or I was that dude. And I feel like, as the old people used to say, God has been better to me than I've been to myself.
Yeah.
Plenty of times I was asking to be removed, and
Mm.
God had better plans. And so for me now, I recognize that, and I want to make the most of His purpose for me. And I know it's not wilding out. I know it's not
Right.
drinking and carousing and slapping
Mhm.
people. I was
Mhm.
pretty rowdy, and I'm pleased to still be here smiling.
Yeah, and I'm glad you are too.
Thank you.
Corey is in the Corey Boucher. I see you. We're not telling you what the book is about right now.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy like, yo, I got a book, and then you never hear. I wasn't even going to say it, but I'm so pleased. I think people will dig it. It's not
Mhm.
fiction. I mean, it's not some sci-fi stuff. I'm not going there with you, but I know it's something everybody can relate to, especially our people.
I can't wait now. Oh, I can't wait. So what would you say that you're most proud of right now at 52? What are you most proud of in your life?
Uh, accomplishments,
Yeah.
accomplishments. I've had a dirty little secret, and it was everybody thought that, the way I talk and present myself, that, I had my college degrees. I never did.
Mhm.
So to graduate summa cum laude, that feels good. I may do nothing with it. I might do everything with it, but I did it. It's kind of like
Mhm.
skydiving. I did that. I never need to do it again, but I did it.
Yeah. And
And so
it was recently. When did you graduate? It was like in the past couple of years, right?
2023, October.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
I turned 50. I bought a house. The second thing is being a homeowner in California, is no small task. Our
Mhm.
taxes here will make you want to commute from another state. And so to have that, and I think, I'm just so grateful because I'm learning things as a homeowner. I hear myself sounding like my parents. Like,
Mhm.
I'm so used to just going out to eat, I feel like a steak, go get it. And then I'm thinking, shoot, you got red meat at home. That, that's
We
my
got
parents.
McDonald's at home.
Yeah. You can make a burger better at home. And so that was my childhood. I used to hate eating at home, and now I get it.
Hmm.
Taking out meat, go out to the freezer in the garage, get the meat, take it out for the night. These are things I used to hear my mom say, my dad say.
Yeah.
So that, and also having moving here 24 years ago with a plan.
Hmm.
It didn't go exactly the way I saw it, but I achieved it. And to be doing it for 10 years and to be the first Black legacy character on the history of the longest running scripted show is a blessing and an honor that's not lost on me.
Hmm.
So, what am I most proud of is those three things and the little things in between, like not getting caught up, not
Yeah.
getting caught up in these streets, and
Right.
you know, yeah, because I partied pretty hard, and so I made it out.
Okay. I see. Corey wants to know, what was your major?
Hey, Corey, I majored. I wish I could show you this right now. It's digital filmmaking, Bachelor of Science in Digital Filmmaking.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I would love to start making films, the films that I've always wanted to see.
Hmm.
And then college, a couple of my college projects were uh, films, documentaries. I did a documentary on Paul Robeson. I think everybody should look up Paul Robeson.
Yeah.
Um, there's probably never been a more accomplished human being. And so I would like to make films to enlighten people, to entertain, but I also would like to make films not just like Black people overcoming, not Black people fighting injustice. I would like to make a Black escape film where we can just be people, you know,
Yeah.
where our Blackness doesn't matter. It's just a movie, it's entertainment, something
Hmm.
everybody could relate to. And so I would like to make those as well.
Now I have to. I can't believe I forgot to bring this up, and I mentioned it in my intro. How do you protect your peace? Because I know, you are not heavily on social media. And I used to watch from afar on Twitter when you would tweet, and when the things people would say about your character, and I'm like, oh, I would be going off in the going off on everybody. But how do you protect your peace? Because sometimes people do get the character
Right,
confused with who you are. They just mix the two up. You're Curtis, that's it.
right, right. It's funny because yeah, I used to fight those battles, and
Mhm.
it's like going outside trying to contain the wind. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
bigger than you. So
Mhm.
when people say you don't look at comments, I used to think that was impossible, but no, it's not. You just don't.
Right.
I'm from an era where actors were a mystery until they performed.
Mhm.
They were regular people until they performed. You assumed everything else. You might have heard of something. They saw them at a party, but we didn't know what was in their refrigerator.
True.
We didn't know what salad they ate at 3 p.m. You know, and
Yeah.
so now some people have done that. We've given people access, and now everybody expects that from everyone. And for me, also, I've never really wanted to vie to be most popular. Not in high
Mhm.
school. I was that because of basketball, simply. So I want my work to speak for me. And so I'm not interested, I should say, in playing certain games just to be popular, just to up my likes and follows. It just doesn't move me. When I was a
Mhm.
kid and I wanted to move here and be an actor, it wasn't so I could show people my breakfast, you know,
Yeah.
out the window of an airplane wing, showing a wing in the sky. Like that doesn't, it seems
Mhm.
very narcissistic and self-involved.
Mhm.
And my mentor used to really, really caution me about that and really, really try to keep all, I don't want to sound hokey pokey, but all glory to God and
Mhm.
not about me. And
Yeah.
so just I'll let my work speak for me. I think it's Proverbs 27:2 basically is, let other people trumpet you and you don't trumpet yourself. And so
Right.
social media is that.
Mhm.
And it kind of grates against who I am. Pardon me if I quoted the wrong scripture, but I think it's that one. So yeah, I keep my peace by that. I used to be out here fist fighting with these people because people don't know how fiery I was. I'm a fighter.
Mhm.
I fought
Mhm.
MMA. I fought street fights, and so people don't know that that
Yeah.
translated into this silly social media thing. And like I said, it's spiritual warfare out here. People will say
Right.
anything and hide, and you don't. So things they wouldn't say to your face. And I got into it one thing, and some lady went on a rant, and she cursed my name for 11 minutes. And I remember my dad and my brothers contacting me from another state, like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Some lady just went in, popped up in their
Oh,
algorithm. Oh yeah, and
I missed
people are,
that one.
yeah, I missed it, and I purposely didn't need to hear it.
Yeah.
Breaking my peace. So that's what it is. I mean, I guess you kind of you know what you sign up for.
Mhm.
Uh, I, I've had it worse. I've literally dug ditches. You know,
Yeah.
I've been behind the walls, as they say,
Mhm. Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
different life of mine. So I don't mind. People are gonna talk. Far
Mhm.
more don't. Far more don't. So I'm good with that.
Yeah. Lepre says we definitely have too much access to people's lives. You're right, Lepre. You're right.
You're right. You are so right. And then the way, like, one day I remember waking up, you turn on your phone, and the first social media was, "I hate you. I think you're a piece of junk. You should die." And I'm like, why do we give people access to just infiltrate people's lives and their thinking that way? Someone who
Mhm.
doesn't know me can, tag
Yeah.
me saying
Mhm.
anything. And I just think that's a little weird. Now we do the blue check thing, and anybody
Yeah.
can do a blue check. So I have so many people claiming to be me.
Mhm.
By the way, everyone, it's not me. I only sometimes do IG. I'm
Yeah.
not asking you for, there's no crowdfunding. When there were fires, there were people actually crowdfunding in my name. There's
Oh,
this
wow.
whole, oh yeah, raising money. I've had husbands contact me telling me not to take the 3,000 from their wives. They've contacted my agents. They've contacted the network. They've contacted my producers. Yeah, because there's somebody's claiming to be me, conning them out of money.
Mhm.
I just wouldn't do that. But it's a weird dynamic, and it's enough to make me. And I've had a couple stalker situations that got legal a couple years ago. They started going in with my parents and
Mhm.
affecting them. So that's when I got off of Facebook.
Oh,
So it was enough for me to just say, yeah, this is not my thing.
yeah. I just had somebody with your name contact me on TikTok the other day. And I just, they all he said was, "Hello, thank you for being such a fan." And I just started laughing in block.
Such a fan. Yeah, see, I would never say that.
Right.
Uh, and not only that, I've never been on TikTok a day in my life. I don't even know how to. I barely know how to get on this. So somebody was talking about, you hit me up on Google Chat, or I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Nope. I've never crowdfunded in my life, thank God. And I
Mhm.
definitely wouldn't scam people out of that. And I just think
Yeah.
we live in a world that's just, you know, everybody's
Yeah.
scam happy.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Protect your peace, y'all. Protect your
Protect
peace.
your peace.
So what's next for you besides the book? What else can we expect? I know you're on General Hospital. Are we going to
Right.
see more of Curtis? Are you going to ever cross over to Beyond the Gates maybe one day?
That'd be cool. I've been checking on them. Good for them. I'm rooting for them. We need more people to understand how difficult it is to do soaps.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, you just got to be pretty and say some lines." No, no. Many people get swallowed up. So I heard that they had a lot of recasts, and I'm
Mhm.
not sure if that's people can't handle the workload and the demands, or people were not well received. Either way, it's a testament to how difficult the genre is. We're doing
Yeah.
like in between theater and in between TV, and you got to know it. You got to say those chunks. You got to get them out. You can't mess
Mhm.
up too many times. Time is money, or else the genre is not for you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, but I do want the word to get out, and I do want them to be successful. I think it's a great look for Black people. I
Mhm.
love, love, love the premise, and I would like to do even more. Like take that premise and go feature film or primetime.
Yeah,
I've always
absolutely.
wanted to do something like that with Black opulence, Black education, Black
Mhm.
excellence, real Black excellence, not the culture stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you decide to do a film, just give me a role. I can be the reporter, the news anchor, something.
Okay,
Just small roles.
okay. What you got your eyes set on some acting, huh? Do you? Is that
I
what you want
used
to
to
do?
do a little acting back in the day.
Look at that. I used to do. Listen, I used to get it in church. Come
No.
Christmas. No, heck yeah, I would hire you. You're adorable. Um, thank you. Acting is one of those things, man, where I respect people who have no aspirations. They're like, nope,
Mhm.
not me. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people think they can do it, and that's why they
Yeah.
come down on us so hard because they think it's easy. I've had people come down on me because I'm on a show that doesn't represent Black people enough,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
so should I not be here? You know,
Mhm.
well, I just don't know how you could be on a show that da 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 da. I'm just like, well, I am Black representation. You
Right.
know, just my presence. I
Mhm.
don't have to have a barbecue. I don't have to play dominoes on set.
Right.
Just being there looks good for us.
Mhm. Lepre, you hush about those Easter speeches. I didn't do any Easter speeches.
We all did. I know I did. I know I was always doing something reluctantly performing in church where it all started.
Yeah. So I asked this question of all my guests, and I can't wait to hear what your answer is going to be. But what feeds your soul?
Mm, it's a great question. Um, Growth and achievement,
Mhm.
setting out to do something, overcoming all of the obstacles to get there, and achieving it. So that feeds my soul. It's not money. It's not the things that used to satisfy my soul, or I thought maybe my flesh back in
Mhm.
the day. So it's things that are deeper. I love spiritual growth. I'm a
Mhm.
work in progress. Um, I do. I pursue peace actively. I was almost in an incident yesterday, actually, where I thought I
Uh-oh.
was gonna have. Well, again, there's still that old side of me. I thought I was gonna have to knock out a couple 20-year-olds, and this
Oh.
was at the jacuzzi at the gym, and they were
Mhm.
being a bit irreverent for the space. And the younger me might have said something, and the whole time in that moment, when they were being rowdy, headed my way, acting silly for the space we were in, I just remember praying and just saying over and over, just seek peace, just seek peace,
Yeah.
just seek the peace. And, I wish I'd have done that a lot of years ago. I would have avoided a lot of situations.
Mhm.
And so, what feeds my soul is that kind of growth.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah.
just even 3 years ago, I grappled with, the boy I was and the man I'm becoming. And it's
Mhm.
less of a grapple now. Now I'm here standing victorious and I'm observing all those moments like traffic when somebody cuts me off. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, hey, okay, as long as nobody got hurt. It
Mhm.
used to be, so that those all feed my soul.
Mhm.
Being the first person in my family to make, to just be successful like this, to be able to
Yeah.
provide for my loved ones. My
Mhm.
grandkids feed my soul.
Mhm.
I'm in love with my grandkids. I just think they're the most amazing human beings on the planet. And I wish
Aw.
I was as cool as my grandson, my
Mhm.
oldest grandson. I mean, that dude's got, as the kids say, Riz. That man's got Riz. He said, they call me Papa D. And he said, hey, Papa D, tell your directors about me. I was like, who, who says that? Yeah, okay,
That's
Miles.
cute.
His name is Miles. Miles is, you know, and that feeds my soul. They're not on
Aw.
drugs. They're into the church. They fight. They do martial arts,
Mhm.
MMA. They're smart. They're reading at 3 grade levels ahead of where they are. They're just the apple of my eye. So that, making sure life is good for them makes me feel better. That satisfies my soul.
Oh, I love this answer. It's I hate that we're having to wrap up because this conversation has absolutely fed my soul, and I think it's fed
Oh,
has it fed y'all soul in the chat? Let me know. This has been great, Donnell. Thank you
no.
for answering me when I said, "Hey, are you busy on the 16th?"
Well, you're adorable, and it's always fun to talk with you, and I appreciate what you're doing. I'm here to support you. You've supported me, so iron sharpens iron. So you call, and I'll do what I can to be there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Lapre says this was great. Oh, she says her grandma said that Pooh Bear gonna make herself out of herself because Lapre has been on the news locally. So, okay, Lapre. Okay, Pooh Bear.
Okay. All right.
I love that. I love that. Um, and Corey, yes, thank you, Corey. Corey says he got to know a different side of you on here.
Hey,
So
right on,
yeah.
Corey. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, yeah. There'll be another book that'll really, really let you know more about me.
Yeah. So you'll have to come back, of course, to talk all about it. And yeah. So
Yeah, you're gonna get sick of hearing my book. When it's done, yeah, yeah. I'm going everywhere with my book up. I'm gonna do the whole interview like this.
Yes, yes, yes. Do that. Do that. Well, y'all, for more information on fitness and diet, lifestyle, all the things that we talked about tonight, you can head over to blackdoctor.org and search for articles and resources over there. And make sure tomorrow we have our Minority Health Summit that kicks off at 4 o'clock. So you want to come back for that. We've got several amazing panels lined up, and I'll be hosting a few of those. So come check us out. And next week on Soulibration, we're talking about body sculpting, fat transfers, tummy tucks, what's really safe, and what should you avoid. Y'all come back next week, next Wednesday. We're going to talk about all things body shaping with real talk, real facts, and real results. So I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a soul-filled rest of the week. Donnell, don't hang up. Good night, y'all.